We waited 55 minutes for a burning hammer off the announce table through a table. That was a long fucking wait to see Eddie Dennis get his shoulder fucked up. But whatever. Gentlemen, raise your beverages. This is an NXT party.
Alright folks, a little bit of backstory on what you're about to see here. The finals for the Dusty Rhodes Classic, I had picked the Grizzled Young Veterans and he had picked the Broserweights, even though you can't say their fucking name. We made what we like to call the Chris Willis bet, which like the loser would take chops to the chest. So, me being a man of my word, I'm about to remove my shirt and take my chops.
The Chris Willis bet. I'm the butt of the jokes.
Oh,
Yeah. When it comes to the big one, I know when and when not to bet on the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Whoop whoop. Fuck this shit, I guess.
Let's do this, Jerry.
Okay.
Alright. See, a soft landing, look. Alright, here we go.
Yep.
Oh, I think I hit his nipple. Oh. Welcome everybody to the NXT party for episode number 81 of NXT UK. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans.
Tonight we have two special guests. We've got Christopher Mace and Christopher Willis. Now we are going to separate them by their nicknames maybe. We've got the Holiday, we've got the Good Brother, or maybe they're just their last names. Chris Mace, how's it going?
Because they're so much alike.
It's going good. Glad to be back. I haven't been on a tea party in a while, so it's glad to be talking about NXT UK with y'all again.
Yeah, I wish we could have had you on last week when we had a better show. I feel like we had a better show. I might be the only one here. I was very underwhelmed by the entire show up until the main event, and there's only one reason I was curious about the main event. But anyway, Chris Willis, how are you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing great, Jerry. I'm doing great, Stephen.
Thank you.
We start the night off with Piper Niven versus Dani Luna. If anybody thought Dani Luna stood a chance in this match, she is about a foot shorter than Piper Niven. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people smaller than Piper Niven. Now they call her a powerhouse, a weightlifter, and I'm like, that is not going to help her with Piper Niven.
No.
And sure enough, she tries a couple of times, and it looks like if she actually popped her hips, she could probably German suplex Piper Niven, but no, she never gets her up off her feet. This is a long drawn-out, squashy match, and Piper Niven wins with a Michinoku driver. And normally, I don't like to lay out a match first before I get other people's opinions, but this was the start of basically what was the rest of the night. But before I get into my thoughts on where this is going, Chris Willis. There we go. Start with Chris Willis.
I thought the match was okay, but not the best. I believe this was really Piper Niven's worst match to date. I knew she was going to win. Dani Luna, whatever her name is, she really didn't impress me. She tried her best to, pick up Niven, but I just wasn't really impressed.
Chris Mace.
The whole story of the match was this Luna woman trying to pick up Piper Niven. That wasn't going to happen. This was just a really boring match. Piper Niven, like I said, she has, shines of greatness. At one point, she did great at that takeover match. And then a World Squad match. After that, whichever one, she had a good match at last time. Either way, she's been doing horrible, and she's getting worse in the ring. How about that? That's my opinion.
That is a very bright opinion, sir. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
It's been a minute, y'all. Y'all give me a minute.
What was that movie, Powder, with the white kid that was...
all telekinetic and shit, like, was able to control electricity and everything. Yeah, the movie was great.
Is that electrokinetic? Or... Anyway, I am not looking forward to whatever they're doing with Piper Niven, because they built her up to the main event just to drop her back down to this, which means they're probably going to do it again, but as we see later, she's not going back into the main event yet, so like...
Even then, like, the biggest woman that they had on the roster that she'd be put into a program with was Jazzy Gabbert, and she's gone.
Well, my thing about this is the NXT UK women's division is not deep enough to be putting everybody that you have that's substantial in these squash matches all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you're only going to have 2 names in the ring at a time, and they be the 2 that are going for the title, in this case, spoil it a little bit, Toni Storm and Kaylee Ray, well, obviously Kaylee Ray, then I don't know, it's a stagnant division, and Piper Niven shouldn't be fighting her. She should be fighting somebody like Deonna Purrazzo or Nina Samuels, somebody that, or Isla Dawn, somebody.
That was going to be my next thing, because...
Well, we already saw Isla Dawn a few weeks ago.
Well, it was last week. Like the show we reviewed last week with Isla Dawn versus Nina Samuels. We just raved about that match.
I mean, we saw Isla Dawn versus Piper Niven recently.
Yeah, and that wasn't great either. I don't like Piper Niven matches. I don't really see
it. At least the NXT UK women's division is better than the AEW's women's division. Sorry.
Any division is better than that division.
The minis division they used to have in WWE is better than the AEW women's division.
We get a really cool video promo. This is for Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang are answering Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch's challenge, and they're game. They weren't even challenged to a title match. Of course they're game. They're Gallus. Come on. Come on. This was really different looking from the other video packages that I'm used to for NXT UK, and I feel like either they hired somebody new or they brought somebody over from NXT to kind of oversee the video packages. Hopefully we'll start seeing a lot more continuity as to when they are promoting certain matches. You know how NXT has got that where they at least promote the main event throughout the show, but they're also trying to promote matches for 1 week out and matches for 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
I really like that framework they have for these promos, and this one was just different. So I'm a little bit positive that it's going to make more, because there's been some NXT UK shows that have just been like.
What I really liked about it was more stylized than some of these other ones. I think what they're going to start doing is like shooting promos for these different stars, and whether it be different filters or just a different camera angles or whatnot, just to freshen them up. And they started off great with Gallus. I love this promo that they did.
Well, anyway, we're going to get an announcement later, but yeah, we're going to get this match next week. Tag team match. Should be good. We follow this with an interview with Jordan Devlin. This was earlier this week after his win. Well, probably well after his win. Coming off Worlds Collide and winning the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And
that really nice looking Cruiserweight Championship.
He says he told you. He said pound for pound, and it makes sense, the words he used at the time. But yeah, he said pound for pound, he is the best superstar in the WWE, and he has proved that of everybody under 205 pounds, he is the best. And never bet against the ace. I'm sure he said that. He always says that.
If he didn't, we heard it anyway.
Jerry, who's the next opponent for the Cruiserweight Championship?
Oh, I want to say they're going to put Angel Garza again against him, but I don't see Angel Garza winning it. And then maybe that's when Devlin will actually get to bring it over here to NXT UK for a little bit, and maybe we'll get Mark Andrews versus Jordan Devlin.
Well, Garza said he wants the title back. Lio Rush never formally got... Well, I know it's post... era where you get an automatic rematch, but...
Yeah, that's garbage. You still get the automatic rematch at half the time.
At the very least, he was the former champ. He should be towards the top of the list of people to take on the current champ.
Yep.
And it has been 2 title changes since, you know.
Chris Mace, you're pretty much, co-captain of the 205 Live Matters thing. Who would you see facing off against Jordan Devlin?
Angel Garza, he hasn't lost since he lost the title. He hasn't lost a match as of yet. And on top of that, Leo Rush, we're talking about Leo Rush and continuity. He should have got a rematch. He just lost just last couple weeks ago on 205 Live. He lost to Tony Nese by a countout. He's not been doing that that good on the 205 Live brand. So it'd make more sense to me Angel Garza gets a rematch. Angel Garza actually shows up at NXT UK to go chase him after the title. I pitched that last week's 205 Live episode. She should go after Jordan Devlin by chasing him in NXT UK, create something different, a different dynamic. You get stars from NXT and 205 Live, go to NXT UK, chase after him with the title, and then we could have some matches on NXT UK for the Cruiserweight Championship.
I like that premise.
What do you think about that, Chris Willis?
Well, it's going to be Hector Garza. He has the best win-loss record when it comes to the NXT Cruiserweight division. So it's going to be Hector Garza, hands down. I can't wait for that match in the near future. I was pretty surprised that Jordan Devlin was the NXT Cruiserweight champion.
I was not.
Don't bet against the ace.
No, you don't. You don't bet against the ace.
Never bet against the ace, and never bet against Tyler Bates.
Well, we were kind of weary about betting against the ace at that point.
and never bet against Tyler Bate during an NXT UK television show.
Nope.
He faces A-Kid next, and it was an okay match, really slow at the beginning because obviously they're two baby faces. One of them is the other's mentor, and there's a lot of respect and blah, blah, blah. But eventually we get into an okay match. I've got some notes. What were your thoughts, Chris Mace?
Tyler Bate made A-Kid look like he was a phenomenal wrestler. A-Kid's got some talent. Like I said, it was good technical wrestling, back and forth, very slow pace. And then after that, like I said, then you started seeing the counters. They kept having different counters, and A-Kid got the momentum. You thought for a second, possibly, suspend your disbelief that he might possibly get an upset, and he gets to the top turnbuckle, and you get ready to jump, and then Tyler Bate takes over, hits his drop kick, and takes over, and then the rest is history. But I thought it was actually an interesting match. It was okay for what it was, though, but it was good storytelling to me.
Willis?
I really enjoyed the match. The chain wrestling was great. It was a good slow pace, get into first gear, get into second gear. And then out of nowhere, Tyler Bate got the victory with the Tyler Driver 98?
97. I don't know about out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I certainly saw it coming off of that drop kick that Mace was talking about. A-Kid briefly has the upper hand. Goes up top and gets hit with a drop kick, and then right after the drop kick was that Peter Pan lariat that turned him inside out, and at that point I knew it was over. Tyler Driver 97, we got the pinfall, of course we got the handshake of respect afterwards, and we expected somebody to come out and attack Tyler Bate, but instead we have Joseph Connors come out and verbally attack Tyler Bate, and essentially the crowd, mostly the spot about 4 feet in front of his feet. He looked down for the entire promo. He didn't look at Tyler Bate. He didn't look at the crowd. Anytime he would point down. I don't know if he was supposed to be doing this or if this is just what he does so it's easier for him to remember his lines. But I feel like at the very end, he looked up and he said he was going to show Tyler Bate why he is takeover worthy. He finally looked at him. Maybe this was the scripted part. I enjoyed this promo, even though it's not the best, but it's certainly better than we've seen lately out of Joseph Connors, so improvement nonetheless. The match itself, it's a throwaway for me. Like, I basically underlined Tyler Bate before the match even got started. I did not give A-Kid a chance. Even, let's see, where did he get the upper hand? Somehow he sends Bate outside, who goes over the top rope and then smacks his head coming down, and then runs up to the corner and does a moonsault to the outside. That's where he thinks he's got the upper hand. But then he goes up top and, gets drop kicked. He did have a good counter, though. Countered that standing shooting star with a triangle hold. But that's where Bate lifts him up and puts him in the airplane spin. And it's just like, yeah, dude, you didn't stand a chance. Jerry, what do you think about this match?
The chain wrestling was great. And then I didn't really... The whole match at NCAA Kid winning. That just was already in the cards. But there's a scene in the movie The Great White Hype that I like. That at one point Peter Berg's actually getting the upper hand on Damon Wayans, and then he nails him with the overhand right. And then Damon Wayans says, "Are you trying to embarrass me on television?" So that's the feeling I got. Like after I saw the dropkick, I'm like, "Yep, Tyler Bates about to show him what's what."
He hit that Tyler Driver 97 like he was business. Like he was pissed off at him.
He wasn't playing. He went like a foot off the mat off that one. So yeah. It damn near was a Batista bomb.
So we get a video recap next. They're reminding us of the 6-man tag match where Dave Mastiff got distracted and the match got won, but he got distracted by Walter, and after the match there was this stare down, and we're gonna follow him around, I guess, for the next minute or so while he yells looking for Walter.
This was Mastiff wasting a minute and a half of our time.
Yeah, he's walking around the backstage just yelling for Walter, and I'm like, you know what? There's bound to be somebody back there that knows where he's at.
At least when the Undisputed Era was looking for Ciampa, they made it entertaining. He was just screaming like he was looking for a lost puppy.
Yeah. So, more evidence that this match is coming our way. Whether it's for the title or not, who knows? But meanwhile, Sam Stoker and Lewis Howley come out, the Pretty Deadly. Jerry informs me that they have been newly signed to NXT UK. So has Candy Floss, by the way, so congratulations to the three. And then they're facing Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter. So at the beginning of this match, I'm thinking, finally there's a match on this show where the outcome is not 100% predictable. But then I started thinking, it's either going to be the Pretty Deadly with their first win or Carter and Smith with their second win in a row, a streak, after coming off of several losses. And I'm like, of course they're going to give it to Carter and Smith. They're building them up for something. So then I lost interest, kinda. I actually have a bunch of notes in this. Why, I don't know. But Jerry, what were your thoughts on this?
You're watching this match very intently, and like with me, I was thinking this in the same frame of thinking as you. It's like, okay, this is pretty much a do or die kind of thing, because the Pretty Deadly still haven't won a match here, and it seems like they come out looking flakier and flakier each week, and I'm just not into this team. I don't understand it at all. And Nigel McGuinness and Aiden English can have their man crushes all they want on them. I just don't like them. But what really appealed to me at the end of this match was after Smith and Carter got the win, the Pretty Deadly actually showed a little more, we're going to call it ruthless aggression. And actually attacking them at the end. Granted, just isolating Ashton Smith, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, like, when you're a heel team, you're supposed to do shit like that. Then when the other dude jumps in, it's like, oh, things are evened up, we're out.
Yeah, at some point in this match, they gave credit to Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter for isolating one of the Pretty Deadly, and I'm like, yeah, that's great if you're a heel tag team. Face tag teams aren't supposed to, you're not supposed to call them out for that, but whatever. Chris Willis, what did you think about this match?
The match was solid between two lower Carter tag teams. I'm not surprised that Carter and Smith won. I know Pretty Deadly still hasn't won a match. I believe their record is 0-6 or 0-7. But the match was solid. It is what it is. But after the match, I was pretty surprised that Team Deadly, or Pretty Deadly, attacked the two blacks. So,
wow, you made all sorts of racial and shit.
Well, just one of them. Just one of them. They kind of got out of dodge when the other got back in the ring.
Oh yeah, because they'd be like one black guy. Okay, two black guys. That's a gang.
I did like their tag team move though when they did that aftermatch attack, that assisted lung blower.
Yeah.
Wasn't completely original or innovative or anything.
But it was also a tag team finisher, something Ashton Smith and Carter do not have.
No, they won the match with, let's see, Carter hits an electric chair into an Ushigoroshi.
Which is a sick-looking move, but it's not a tag team finisher.
Chris Mace, what do you think about this tag match?
It was okay. I was really wanting Pretty Deadly to actually win, so I heard they had gotten signed to actual contracts now. So I was going, okay, this might be interesting. It was going back and forth. I was like, okay, well, if it's longer than 5 minutes, they have a chance. Well, it was longer than 5 minutes. Like, all right, they have a chance. Oh, maybe they don't. Oh, there you go. They get a look. Oh, no, there you go. No, oh, fuck it. And then I like the aftermath where they went and started attacking him. I thought that was different, given, like Jerry said, that ruthless aggression there. Like I said, maybe he'll make them in future matches have that more aggressive attitude, maybe do something different, be a little more serious, not as much high flying or more high flying. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm wanting to see. These guys kind of remind me like of very young Hardy Boys, what they kind of remind me of when I watch them. So.
They need to dial it back with all their posing and posturing and everything at the beginning and just get into the fucking ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been reading these notes here, and I realize why I have so many. My first note is Smith doing a stalling suplex and gets a full-on feel-up on Howley. Like, just all covering his junk. He moves his hand away eventually, but it looks like he's just comfortable grabbing his staff. Anyway, like those are the kind. But then stuff that I haven't seen, like Carter hits this back kick to Howley that is very reminiscent of a Black Mass, and then a pump handle into a Uranagi. Got a near fall off of it. The Pretty Deadly do hit a tag team move. It's sort of stereo uppercuts where they like jump across each other.
That was actually pretty cool looking.
And yeah, it was all right on replay. The original spot, it was hard to tell what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
But they go to do their finisher, and Smith ends up getting in the ring and super kicking them both after blocking the finisher. And then Carter hits this running heel kick into one of them in the corner, and then pulls him into that electric chair Ushi-Goroshi.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, it's kind of sick looking, but I never like a Ushi-Goroshi as a finishing move for some reason. I don't know.
It makes a little more sense if you're actually working on the neck almost the entire match, or maybe the shoulders.
So Ilya Dragunov continues his ways of beating up inanimate objects. He is in the Performance Center taking a sledgehammer to a giant tire, and they interrupt him to ask him about Joe Coffey and his warning, and he's like, so Joe says, I better watch myself, but I only came out to the match to help, but whatever. That's fine. What did he say? I was there to help him. And he's like, fine, I'm ready.
Yep.
You better bring it now because I'm ready.
I got something to say about on this. I know Triple H had to pay a visit to the UK Performance Center. Where's my sledgehammer? I thought it was here. Drag it up. Give it back. That's my shovel.
So again, another reminder that this match is in our future. They don't actually announce this. I feel like it's going to be an encounter between the two of them before it ends up being a match.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kaylee Ray comes to the ring. She does a promo, says some stuff. The one thing I liked that she said was she talked about how the title is intoxicating. All of the power and the notoriety, and she says the attention, and I'm like, what attention? She's not getting any attention as
I'm like, pardon?
UK Women's Champ. But she calls it intoxicating. She's building up. She's essentially helping Toni Storm with her character, that Toni Storm is obsessed with the title. And she does come out. She interrupts the promo just in time, because anytime you interrupt Kaylee Ray, she's already talked too long.
Mm-hmm.
And comes out, and she just stares at the title this whole time. Kaylee Ray is trying to talk some sense into her, but she says, you know what? I'm going to help you with your addiction to this title. I'm going to give you your championship opportunity, but it is going to be a no-quit match, or an I-quit match. And if you quit, this is your last opportunity at the title while I hold it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's her last chance. And I'm like, title reigns are not necessarily long or anything. Like, I really give a shit about the stipulation. I do like the fact that it's an I Quit match. I think that is appropriate here. You think so, Jerry?
I think so. Chances are I'll scream I quit halfway, like maybe 2 minutes into the match. I'll just kind of walk off.
Chris Willis, who you got in this I Quit match?
Before I give you my answer, I got to get this off my chest. Toni Storm's character is very confusing, especially from the last week when she had the interview after that loss against Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
She was like saying, Kaylee Ray is in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. You just lost to Rhea Ripley, but all you think about is Kaylee Ray. And it just came out really, really stupid. But this whole face-to-face between those two, okay, cool. You know, it is what it is. And plus saying, oh, you stole that victory? No, it was a triple threat. Kaylee Ray had to do what she had to do. Now, speaking of Kaylee Ray, she really hasn't been a great champion. The championship has barely been defended on TV. When she even comes to the United States, she doesn't get no reaction. She's pretty much like the Dollar Tree version of the McChicken at McDonald's. So she doesn't get no reaction. I feel like that title has been really bad on Kaylee Ray, but finally we're getting that title defense in an I Quit match. Kaylee Ray's gonna win it, regardless.
I don't know. What do you think, Chris Mace?
Oh boy.
I can't stand freaking Tony Storm. This dumbass should have just come out there and stopped being so obsessed with that. They made her whole character as this title has made me. I had to just stare at the title, not saying really anything relevant to anything of what's going on. She should have just come out there and made a comic, set the challenge, beat the shit out of Kaylee Ray. But nope, she wants to stand there and look like an idiot. At this point, I can't stand Tony Storm, but unfortunately, I have this weird-ass feeling in his I Quit match, Tony Storm is going to finally turn fucking heel, do something relevant since she's been in NXT UK and become the NXT UK Women's Champion again. And hopefully she turns heel and does something different, because she is just fucking annoying, and I don't even know why she's on this brand. That's my opinion.
Your opinion, great. Who do you have for the win?
And Tony Storm to win. That's what I just said.
Okay.
No.
Jerry?
With me, I'm actually in that way of thinking too. Like, Kaylee Ray hasn't really been doing much as champion, and Tony Storm, as annoying as she is, the fans seem to eat her up, and it only makes sense to give her the belt again. But
Eat that booty.
this promo, it fell flat for me. It really did. Like, maybe I was just spoiled by Charlotte and
Rhea Ripley.
Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair last night. That was a great promo between them. This one, it's just the fact that Kaylee Ray just kind of drones on and on, and she's so Scottish.
She is the epitome of tonight's show, pedestrian.
That's the word for today, folks.
She falls flatter than her own ass. I mean, it's true. They're either going two ways with this stipulation. Either going to where Kaylee Ray wins and Tony Storm ends up going nuts and trying to cost Kaylee Ray the victory, which might be a double turn, where Kaylee Ray goes face because Tony Storm cost her a win and turns heel. Or it's just building up the drama so that it's even sweeter when Tony Storm does win because this was her last chance. That's the short-term payoff. Tony Storm going nuts and turning heel is the long-term payoff. I'm hoping for that, so I'm going to go ahead and say, since it's not worth a point anyway, Kaylee Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know when this is going to happen, but I'm assuming it's not going to happen at any takeovers. So
I'm thinking, since neither one of them competed on this event so far, that it's going to be the main event on probably not this next show, but probably the one after.
As we said earlier, next week, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of Gallus are going to take on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the Brit Am Brawlers.
Or Bruisers.
Something like that.
Brawler Bruisers.
One, two.
And momentarily we get a video teaser trailer. This thing looks so cinematic. This is for, I can't pronounce the name right. Oh, F.A.
Yep.
Valkyrie. F.A. Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
She looks cool.
She does.
We finally get to see her face,
Yeah.
and at the end of it, she looks like she takes off from a rock and like just starts like flying. And
goes all Warren Worthington III.
I mean, obviously she's not going to do that on live television, so
Why not?
she's going to come to a ring with the Sin Cara trampoline on it out front. Let's get on to the main event, though.
They've made Roman Reigns somewhat irritating. They can make that chick fly. Go on.
Okay, this main event is why we all came to the show. We heard about this weeks ago. Eddie Dennis gets injured during this, get this, Steel Corners street fight. All of the turnbuckle covers have been removed, including the ones that cover the bolts behind them. We actually get to see that used during the match, which was meh. Good idea, but it actually didn't look like it hurt.
Yeah.
I want to get Chris Mace's thoughts on the main event first.
This was an interesting match concept. It's something you don't ever really, I know for a fact I've never seen. And if they ever have done one of these matches before, I'd like to know when and where. But this was interesting, but Eddie Dennis is the one that looks like needs to be built up. And we already know this is the match where he got injured at. But it's like, why do we got to see Trent Seven out there again? Like I said, didn't you get your ass beat at the last time you met him? Why do we got to see this match again? But for what this match was, I thought it was pretty damn entertaining. Like I said, them back and forth. They pretty much were both guys trying to beat the shit out of each other. It was just a good old fucking fight, and that's what I liked about the match.
Chris Willis?
I really enjoyed this match for like 10 to 11 minutes. You know, these guys were not holding back. You know, it's been a 2-3 month feud between those two guys. But poor Eddie Dennis, he can't catch a break.
Oh, he caught one just fine, it looked like.
Yeah, right to the shoulder. Jerry?
With me, the thing that already stuck out with me in the match was the fact that Trent Seven got into the ring, and I guess he learned his lessons from being drop kicked off so many fucking times. Is that he decided to go ahead and just go right attacking Eddie Dennis versus posing and posturing and doing the whole towel thing. He was ready to fight, and that was actually really cool to see out of him. It wasn't, fun-loving, flamboyant, Trent Seven we're used to seeing. It was he was vicious, and it was pretty great. The match, super physical. We didn't expect anything less. Couple great spots onto the steel steps. But otherwise, I was like everybody else that was already in the know that saw him relinquish the Progress title. I was waiting to see where he got injured at. And there's 2 points of contact that you're probably gonna go over, but otherwise it looks like it was the burning hammer off the announce table, and that's what he actually says it is. But there's no telling with that kind of injury, because it could have started off that way and then just gotten progressively worse throughout the match.
Well, let me start with what I liked about the match. They started this match basically outside. And I like that because the big part of the gimmick of the match is the removal of the covers from the steel, or the corners.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those steel rings exposed. And so they're going to build up to wait to see them get in the ring and actually use that. And so I like that. So they were around the ring, and then they brought out the steps. And we saw Dennis wanted to do a Severn Bridge off of the steps over the barricade, but Trent Seven reverses it and ends up DDTing him into the steps. Takes him over the barricade. At some point, he does hit the Severn Bridge over the barricade onto the steps. But then they end up over by the announce table. They end up getting up on top of the announce table, and just before that sumbitch broke through.
Oh, that thing was bending. It actually snapped at one point, and I'm like, they're not going to be able to do anything off this thing now.
Seven counters the Severn Bridge, and then it starts bowing, and then he picks Eddie Dennis up and hits the burning hammer off of the announce table through a table that's a few feet below. And that's where probably Eddie Dennis hurt his shoulder, because he landed right on his shoulder. But coming back to the ring, Trent Seven clotheslines him over the barricade, and at that point, that same shoulder, that right shoulder, rolls across the barricade. And the way it looked to me was that was either the spot that pulled his arm out of socket, or it didn't help at all. The rest of the match didn't help at all. That was my problem with the match, is that obviously Trent Seven was meant to win, because the rest of this match focused on Eddie Dennis's shoulder that just got hurt. Why else would you drop him with another burning hammer to get the pinfall if that wasn't supposed to already happen? He's just like, fuck it, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
He got sent into the corners once they finally got back in the ring twice, but he took him to the ribs. instead of the shoulder. I feel like if his shoulder wasn't fucked up, he would have gone shoulder first into the corner.
Even then, like if you hit it like right here and it vibrates hard enough, he'll
it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt in his shoulder even.
I'm just saying, Trent Seven should not have won this match. Eddie Dennis needs to be on a roll. They need to push somebody to the main event, and it's not going to be Trent Seven.
No.
Eddie Dennis, it's been long enough overdue. He needs to take on Tyler Bate, get him out of the way. Hopefully, at some point, get Pete Dunne. But in the meantime, he does need to be looking at the NXT UK Championship. But this takes him out of the entire picture.
That's crazy. You're probably calling it the WWE UK Championship, but now changed it over to the NXT one like we wanted.
And if Eddie Dennis had been booked to win this match, he might not have had to take a burning hammer off of the announce desk through a fucking table. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. So, that brings us to the end of the main event. Very, very different views. Like, I wasn't displeased with the match necessarily for what it was.
Just the way it was handled.
Yeah, just so much. And, man, it could... anyway, let's rate this bitch. Here on the NXT party, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris Willis, I'm going to let you go first. Out of 5 spots of NXT, where do you rate the main event?
3 1/4.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
But I'm going to add one more quarter for Eddie Dennis's toughness to continue that match for the last 5 minutes.
That is a really good point.
Yeah.
Chris Mace?
I'm going to actually agree with Good Brother and say 3 1/4. Like I said, that was impressive. After that injury, Eddie Dennis still continued to go through the match. They could have waved the X sign. They could have called the match off, whatever. But he continued to go through the match like a true professional wrestler and finish the match out. That's the old school mentality of it. So I give him all the credit in the world for doing that.
Jerry?
Pretty much what they said. About 3 1/4 for the match itself. I'm not going to give it an extra quarter because like the rest of the show seemed kind of lackluster going up to it, and there wasn't really much of a build. Usually we at least get maybe, I'd say another 2 matches announced for this next week, but all we really know we're getting is the tag match.
Yeah.
So
that's not for anything, really.
Yeah, and there's really no storyline progression going on here, and now that Eddie Dennis is going to be out, I'm wondering what they're going to be doing with Trent Seven. So,
well, hopefully that would have been the end of it anyway. So
that's what I'm thinking. Usually he has his like 2 matches with somebody and then he's done, because like he has matches with Mastiff and now he has matches with Trent Seven. And
he gets the loss, then he gets the win back, then he moves on.
And I was about to say he gets the win, he loses, gets injured, and he disappears from television.
Oh yeah, that's the flip side of it. That's Eddie Dennis' side, yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, he got injured in his match with Mastiff, and then he was gone. Now he got injured in his match with Trent Seven. Now he's going to be gone. But prior to that, he got he got one on both of them at that point, didn't he?
I don't know. I'm going to give this 3 to start because it was solidly good. I'm going to give it a 3 1/4 because of the work they did at the beginning, postponing getting in the ring where the actual steel corners were. I thought that was a very smart decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those things that you don't tend to notice unless you're looking for it. I'm going to give it an extra quarter because of, like everybody else said, Eddie Dennis's toughness to finish this fucking match. Take that clothesline and then thrown into the ring and then 2 whips into the turnbuckles onto the same shoulder. He could have gone left first.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he wanted to tell the story of the shoulder that he's obviously hurt, and then another burning hammer onto the shoulder and let that son of a bitch, Trent Seven, cover him on just that shoulder. All of Trent Seven's weight on that fucked up shoulder for the 1, 2, 3, and then still managed to stick around without calling for medical help just to sell the fact that he's pissed off that Trent Seven won. Congrats to him, an extra quarter, but I'm going to take off a quarter spot of NXT for a pedestrian fucking show. So I'm going to land it where most everybody did except for Chris Willis at a 3 1/4. Agreeable. Mm-hmm. Which is weird considering I was sort of down on the match, whereas you guys were like, we really loved it, and yet still, here we are. 3 1/4.
I'm about to say, I think it's the most pissed off I've actually heard you about a match since we actually started doing this show.
Well,
short of the rounds match.
that brings us to the end of this episode of the NXT party. Cheers. Thank you guys for being on. Chris, it's been so fucking long. And Chris Willis, it's been so fucking long too, man. Thank you guys for showing up. And if you guys want to be up here on the big screen, you can get a hold of us down below in the comments section with an email address or something. Get a hold of us on social media. We'd love to put you on the show, put you in the NXT team, give you a cool nickname, or bring your own. Bring your own nickname. We are all for that. We don't have to be creative then.
Helps us out a lot.
Meanwhile, if you want to find these guys, you can do so as well. Chris Mace, where can we find you?
Find me on my YouTube channel, The Holiday Christopher Mace. I'm very humbled and honored. I have 389 subscribers. That's really awesome. Main parts of the show are like the holiday breaks and the NWA Power Reviews every Tuesday night. You can follow me on Facebook at Christopher Mace, Twitter, Instagram at Christopher Mace. Like I said, you can support every member of the NXT team. Have an issue trying to find anybody's channel, go to my wrestling content list on my channel. You can go on there and you'll find all the newest episodes, everybody's shows, and support NXTea.com.
Chris Willis, good brother, where can we find you?
Follow me on Facebook, Christopher Willis. Follow me on Instagram, Chris J. Willis 86. Follow me on Twitter, GB Chris Willis. Follow my Facebook AEW Nations group, 2,300
2,300 people.
And plus, I have another announcement for you guys. This is really good news. I do have a friend who is an artist, and he does T-shirt designs. So hopefully in the near future, we're going to have some NXT aftermatch merch.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we currently have a Teespring. We just haven't used it yet.
Nope.
So eventually we are going to get T-shirts out there for anybody that may want one. All 50
or mugs, whatever.
Yeah, I think mugs is the appropriate way to go.
At least for a
We
tea
need
party.
Gary to get a shirt.
But we need a logo. We need a logo.
We need an aftermatch logo.
Yep. So if any of you out there can do logos and want to give us a
Yeah,
logo.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So, again, thank you guys for being on. If you'd like to be up on the big screen, find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up, it's Stephen R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter.
At Gerald_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR. Exclamation point. That was pretty.
It's never in sync, but we make do. Damn it, Skype.
Yes, we are not in sync.
Yeah, come. So you can find us and everybody else on Armbar. You can find us on Aftermatch Wrestling on Facebook. We have a group there as well. And on Instagram at Aftermatch_Wrestling. Colin Andrew, one of our many NXT members, runs that. I have Osborne.Stefan on Instagram. I don't do anything, but you're welcome to follow me. And Jerry's got an Instagram as well. The_gentleman_slaughter. And we also have a Patreon at Stephen R. Osborne. So
give us money
to help the show if you can. Mostly what would help if you have a little bit of time. If you like the video, click the like button. That helps. If you like all of our videos, click the subscribe button. That helps the channel grow. And if you've already subscribed and you still want to help the channel grow, click the share button. Share us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or your YouTube channel.
Bathroom stall, whatever, just share us.
Yeah, use a Sharpie and mark on a wall. We didn't suggest that. Just if that happens to be your mode of communication.
It's whatever. Get our name out there.
Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you guys for being on the show. For the holiday, Chris Mace. For the good brother, Chris Willis. For the General, Jerry Slaughter. I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne. Thank you for having a spot of NXT with us, and we will see you NXT time.
Oh!
You can't flinch. You're going to catch it on the side. It's going to be even worse. My hand hurts after that.
Oh!
I'm gonna give that a 6.5. Come on, hey, last one.
Okay.
You really gotta count.
You want it in the middle or you want it on the boob?
Just hit middle. Go ahead.
All right.
Come on, get him.
Oh! That wasn't the chop much to the fucking forearm, but that's okay.